And yes, and recording in progress. Thank you so much, Mark, who is here with us today, and also Victor and Paul and Sonia. We're all here with you. Going back to the schedule today, as I was saying, we will begin with our partners from the National Library of Israel, a long-valued European Days of Jewish Culture partner. They have made available and curated for all of us a selection of visual resources. And as Naomi will tell you more in a couple of minutes, this year is an anniversary year. And we try to introduce new elements and to give it a new shape. Let's see how this works for this year's edition. Once they have presented their resources, we're gonna turn to our coordinators from the ground. And as you could see in the program, we will have the pleasure of hearing from France, from Italy, from Austria, but also Croatia, some news from Ukraine, and from our colleague Marc Frances, who will talk about the link between the European Jewish heritage roots and the European Days. To make this session more smoothly, and in order for you to have a pleasant visual image, I would like you to, if you're able to do that, to set on your screens the speaker's view so that you can see who is speaking and not just the little icon on the whole grid. And also, please do change your name so that Mark can see your names and spotlight you whenever you are talking. Saying that, I want to welcome our partners from National Library of Israel.
Thank
Naomi
you.
Blum-Wortman and Karon Setil. Is Karon here? I can't.
Yes.
Yeah, there she is.
Yes, she's here.
I'm here and I'm opening, and then I'll hand over to Naomi.
Okay, but let me introduce you properly, as you have to be introduced, dear friends and colleagues, excellent professionals. I will start with Naomi Blum-Wortman, who is the Geshe Europa project coordinator at the National Library of Israel, as well as the liaison between the library and the Sami Rohr Prize for Jewish Literature. She's originally from New York. Naomi has lived in Jerusalem for nearly 30 years, and this was in her bio, and it must have been something very important, so I'm gonna say it. She's the proud mother of 3 children, all of whom are currently serving in the IDF. Thank you, Naomi. And going forward to Karon Setil from the National Library of Israel, is a program manager Europe at the National Library of Israel, managing Geshe Europa, which aims to share National Library of Europe collection in a creative way and engage people with shared interests working in Jewish settings in Europe. The National Library of Israel partnership with the European Days of Jewish Culture dates since 2016. And is a valued part of this program. Prior to working at the library, Karon worked at the British Council, promoting cultural relations between Britain and Israel. Dear colleagues, welcome again. Karon, please.
Thank you. I'm just opening up a presentation, so give us 1 second. Okay.
Thank you.
Can everyone see? Everyone can see the screen, correct?
Thank you, Naomi, and thank you, Alina, for that lovely introduction. We're really delighted to be kicking off day 2, and we hope that what you're going to see from the library will give energy for all of you to be thinking about the wonderful theme that we have this year. I'm conscious that some of you know us quite well, and some of you might be new to the library. So I just want to say, before I hand over to Naomi, a few points of introduction. First of all, the National Library of Israel is the largest repository of Jewish materials in the world. And a big part of our work is to make these materials accessible, relevant, and appealing to audiences in Israel and internationally. So under the program Gesher Europa that Alina mentioned, we have training for people working in Jewish heritage. We have a very broad education program. And we also work with networks and programs like the European Day of Jewish Culture. So this is really what our work in Europe is all about, is making our materials available and interesting, and to strengthen the connections between the library and people like you working across Europe. We started, I can't see if Marietka is on the Zoom from Maribor in Slovenia, but she was actually the person who triggered this wonderful partnership 10 years ago when she was working on putting together the Jewish languages exhibition. And you'll see that that is on the top right of these 4 examples of exhibitions that we've done. And once I realized that she was looking for materials in Yiddish and Ladino, of which we have many, but we couldn't send original items over to Maribor, I realized that what we could do for her, we could also do for all the other centers working on the European Day. And from there started a beautiful relationship. And we started very modestly with our first exhibition, which is still hanging, I understand, in places across Europe. And it's grown over the 10 years that we've worked with you. So just to give you a little behind the scenes moment, when we hear what the annual theme is going to be, and we are sometimes more recently involved in helping think through what would be the right theme, that's a really exciting moment for us, because that promotes some fascinating and also sometimes challenging discussions with our team and with our curators. We have 5 curators charged with the different aspects of our collection. And together we break this down into sub-themes, and then we ask our curators to suggest materials, and we work very closely with them to make sure that we are sensitive to this context that you're working in, and also that the whole thing hangs together into one beautiful exhibition. So far, there hasn't been a theme that we couldn't address. And love actually has so many aspects that, as you'll hear from Nomi, we've decided to even focus that down. So you can see here that we've had some very different examples of relating to the subjects. The people of the book would almost be an obvious subject that we would deal with, but we didn't want to just put lots of books up there. So we developed lots of different aspects of the book as a cultural object. Family is something that every culture can relate to, and that was a very special subject for us to deal with in the context of our collections. Diasporas was the second one that we did, and that we also had a film that accompanied that. So I wanted to say that 2 of the exhibitions, Family and the one on memory, have been so admired by our colleagues at the library. And we have, as some of you know, a very beautiful new building that we have those actually up proudly displayed in our new building. So we brought the European Day into Jerusalem. And until now, except for sometimes accompanying materials and the film, as I mentioned, we've been focusing on a panel exhibition where we send files with images, we send text, and we enable you to edit those panels so that you can translate the text and place them as they need to be in the panels. Now, with encouragement from Alina and the team in Barcelona in AEPJ, we're now embarking on a new experiment, on a hybrid offer that Nomi will tell you about, but be assured that there will still be beautiful physical materials that you can display along with a digital format. Now, often we don't know how well the audiences in Europe have responded to our exhibitions, where they've been used. Sometimes we come across them years later. So we're really keen this time to hear how you use the different materials we'll be providing and how they're going to be integrated into European Day activities, especially how you're planning to use the digital materials. So this year, I would say it's really even more important for us to get your feedback and how people have responded, and of course, how we can improve them for the future. So thank you very much for being with us, and I'm handing over to Nomi.
Merci.
Okay, so that was a great introduction. Thank you, Karen, with a lot of background. And I'm just going to really present in brief how we got to the kind of theme that we decided to be working with this year. Because when we began thinking about how to present the rich and universal theme of love to European audiences and within a Jewish context, we searched for a framework that could weave together different expressions of love within a single coherent story. And that search led us to the Song of Songs. The Song of Songs is one of the 5 Megillot, or scrolls in the Hebrew Bible, in Ketuvim, the writing section of the Bible. And it's a text that is really unlike any other text in the biblical canon. In Hebrew, it is called Shir HaShirim, and sometimes in English, it is known as the Song of Solomon. The Song of Songs contains no laws. It has no historical narrative or very clear, straight storyline. It doesn't have any explicit mention of God. And instead, it is basically speaking poetically in the language of love, longing, beauty, and desire of bodies. It speaks of gardens and nature and separation and reunion, intimacy and delight, all sorts of very unique themes that are all put together in a very poetic way. And across centuries and cultures, the Song of Songs has been understood both as a celebration of human love and as a profound spiritual allegory of love between the people of Israel and God. It was famously described in that context by Rabbi Akiva as the Holy of Holies of the Hebrew Bible. And Shir HaShirim, over many, many centuries, has inspired generations of artists, scribes, poets, musicians, and thinkers who transformed its verses into illuminated manuscripts, wedding imagery, philosophical reflections, songs, and works of art, and more. And each new interpretation adds another layer to an ongoing conversation about love itself, romantic love, divine love, sensual, mystical, and human and transcendent. And so we are looking for ways to present all of that with all that lofty background in mind. What we're creating for the 2026 European Days of Jewish Culture is different than in years past, as Karen has said. We were encouraged to shake things up a little bit this year and put greater emphasis on digital content. But at the same time, we understood that there's still really a need for something physical and visual, something that you and your communities can actually display and experience together in your own spaces. And so we're in the process of selecting approximately 6 items and 6 images, highlighting different dimensions of love from the National Library of Israel collections, along with one original graphic artwork specially commissioned for the project. And all these materials, together with introductory texts and QR codes that will link to digital resources, all of these together will form the basis of a printable poster exhibition that communities can display locally. And they will also form the basis of an online exhibition that will be a key piece of a broader digital package. And the digital package will also include the items that you see here. We will have 3 blog articles in The Librarians, which is the National Library of Israel online magazine, all about themes in the Song of Songs and love themes expressed in different ways. We are putting together, and I'm very excited about this piece, a multilingual playlist of love songs inspired by the words and the spirit of the Song of Songs. There are so many of them, and I'm sure many of you know a lot of these songs, and you might not even know that they are based in the Song of Songs. We will have, we hope, one high-quality YouTube video that is being produced, and we will have an accompanying educational activity package, both for younger audiences and for more adult audiences. We're producing the materials in English, but they can be translated into other languages. And all of these materials will be brought together on a dedicated landing page on the National Library of Israel website. And we will think together how to link these to other places as needed. So in the next few slides, I'm going to present a few images from our collections here at the library that beautifully reflect the love themes in the Song of Songs that may appear in the library's exhibit. We haven't yet finalized the items. Yesterday, our friends at ANU presented a ketubah, a Jewish marriage contract, from their collection. In its text, a ketubah is a contractual document, but it also represents the basis for a Jewish marriage, a Jewish home and family. And over the centuries, up until today, ketubot are often lovingly and lavishly decorated with words and images that reflect these ideas. This ketubah that you see here is from Mantova, Italy, from the year 1619. And at the top of the ketubah is a family crest and floral ornamentation. But also, and key to this presentation, is micrographic decoration of the text of the Song of Songs, which is when you create art out of words. In 17th century Italy, ketubot were often transformed into works of art reflecting both local Renaissance, Baroque aesthetics, and Jewish textual traditions. Many specifically incorporated verses from the Song of Songs, which is seen as the poetic celebration of love. And they were woven into the design through calligraphy or intricate micrography. And I will show you up close. I don't know if you can see on the bottom right are the words of Shir HaShirim. So as I said before, these images and quotations really elevated the ketubah beyond a legal document and framed the marriage within a language of beauty, devotion, and sacred love. And we have many examples of these in our collection, and I'm sure they can be found from other areas of the world as well. This is another example, a more modern example. This piece is by Ze'ev Rabban, who lived from 1890 to 1970, and he was a leading figure in the Bezalel School of Art in Jerusalem. And he was known for blending European Art Nouveau aesthetics with Middle Eastern biblical and Jewish visual motifs. And he was part of creating a very distinctive early Hebrew artistic style during the British Mandate era in Palestine. His richly illustrated edition of the Song of Songs was published in 1923, and it transformed the biblical love poetry into a visual narrative filled with ornamental detail, romantic symbolism, and idealized imagery. The striking lithograph that you see here is a very famous piece. It's not from his Song of Songs, it's a separate piece. And it invites viewers or potential tourists to encounter the land of Israel as both a destination and a dreamscape. It evokes the sensuous pastoral imagery of the biblical Song of Songs with its lush nature and harmonious figures and atmosphere of abundance. And the connection to Song of Songs is made explicit with the inclusion of a direct quotation for Lo, the winter is past, Hinei Astav Aval in Hebrew. And it anchors this modern invitation to travel in an ancient tradition of poetic desire and love for the promised land. And love for the land is also a theme that we think comes through these images. I'm just looking at the time. Okay, we're okay. Yeah, okay. This is another beautiful example from our collections. This lavishly illustrated manuscript is an illustration of a poem by a 12th century Persian poet, Nizami, and it tells one of the most enduring love stories of the Islamic world of a young poet, Majnun, driven crazy by his love for Layla. With origins in ancient Arabian poetry, the story evolved and spread in Arabic, Persian, Turkish, and Urdu as a romance, and in Sufi circles as a metaphor for mystical love. And this story is really, it's striking the parallels between the themes in this story and the themes of the Song of Songs. Both of them give voice to love as a force that unsettles and transforms, Both of them have vivid expressions of imagery of nature, of the body, of desire. And in this manuscript's illuminated scenes, the lovers are also set within lush gardens and isolated wilderness, as we have seen in other Jewish illustrations of Shir HaShirim. And the landscape becomes an extension of the spiritual states, just as it does in the Song of Songs, where vineyards and flocks and fragrant blossoms mirror the rhythms of longing and union. And while this is separated by language and culture and religious tradition, this story of Layla Majnun, it shares with the Song of Songs a poetics of love that blurs the line between human and divine. Both of them present a yearning as a state in which the beloved is everywhere, imagined, sought after, and invoked. And it's always very, very interesting to see these parallels between different religious traditions come through, both in the script and in the scripture and in the imagery. Lastly, I want to say that I said we will have a playlist of songs, but we will also have images that reflect music in different ways, music that has been inspired by the Song of Songs. Erev Shel Shoshanim, An Evening of Roses, is a very famous song. This short love song, written in the 1950s, was inspired by the Song of Songs. It quickly became an Israeli and international hit. And not only was it very, very popular immediately in Israel and performed abroad, it was also performed by international singers, including the American Harry Belafonte, the South African Miriam Makeba, and the Greek Nana Mouskouri. And as a side footnote, we discovered that this music of Erev Shel Shoshanim even reached European football stadiums. Versions of it are still sung today by the fans of teams including Red Star Belgrade and FC Nuremberg. Although football is a different kind of love altogether. But in any case, I would like to end this very quick presentation with a short taste of the music. Let's hope this opens directly. I'm not able to open it. Sorry, to full screen.
Is the presentation shared with sound?
Oh, you're not hearing it? You're not hearing it?
There's a box tick that when you share the presentation that includes sound. So you might have to go out and in again.
One
I
second.
should have mentioned that to you.
That's okay. If it doesn't play, we will have to skip it. Do you hear it now?
No.
Uh,
Maybe you can put the link in the chat if you have a separate link for the sound, and we can listen to it later.
Okay. Give me one more second. Let's see. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'll put the link in the chat. It's a fun recording of an Israeli artist together with Nana Mouskouri singing Erev Shel Shoshanim and having a video presentation. So okay. So I'll put the link in the chat as soon as I'm done. And I know our time is out. So I just want to go to our last screen. I'm sorry not to be able to share the music with you, but I just want to say that over the coming weeks, please give some thought as to how you might make use of the digital content materials that we're going to be putting together. And we would be very, very happy to get your feedback and ideas. And we're really looking forward to working together and bringing this vision of love through the lens of Shira Shirim to life for the European Days of Jewish Culture. So we thank everybody for your partnership and your enthusiasm. And we would really, really like to hear from you. You can email me or Karen and be in touch. And I will send you the link and I can share some other links afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naomi, and thank you, Karon. Beyond the beautiful presentation, I have to say that we were talking in the office as you were presenting how much we miss Israel, because we can feel the beauty and the love from there. So if nothing but this, in this very particular moment, is to just yearn for that energy that I'm sure we will find it in the resources that you're sharing with everybody. And I personally am very excited about everything that you will share with us. And I'm just letting everybody know that both AEPJ through the European Days and Karon and Naomi through the National Library are open for working together. If you lack ideas how to compile and how to use these resources, just reach out to us and we'll make sure that we assist you in any way we can. Thank you, ladies, so much. So much.
Thank you,
everyone.
Moving forward, I will invite our colleagues from the various places in Europe who are managers and coordinators of European Days of Jewish Culture to prepare and step in. We will begin with, let's say, the base of the European Days, where this project was born in France. And I saw Dominique. Yes, Dominique Friedman, who recently, as you heard yesterday, took over the presidency of European Days in France. Dominique will share with us a couple of ideas of how does France manages to organize the European Days? How do they connect with the rest of the coordinators, and what's behind how this mechanism of events is being put in order from the head down. Dominique, welcome. Before you start, let me introduce you properly. Dominique is a managing director and CEO with decades of experience in organizing cultural, educational, and commemorative travel across Europe. He's a key figure in promoting Jewish culture and heritage and Shoah remembrance. As the president of the, I'm not going to say the whole name in French, it's long and difficult to say, but he's the president of what is called the European Days in France. He's the coordinator for Paris Île-de-France, and he actively supports initiatives that preserve and transmit Jewish history and traditions. He has collaborated with major institutions such as the Mémorial de la Shoah, l'ICHA, and Bnei Brit, and has organized numerous study tours and cultural programs for diverse audiences. Dominique, welcome again. I am going to share only one slide so that you can have a visual of their visual identity. I hope I can share it. Let's see. Let me know if everybody sees my screen. Yes, as a slide, I should. Hold on. Now, I think this is the right way. Dominique, you have, let me tell you 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, I try. So, ladies and gentlemen, so let me start by paying a tribute to Armand Abécassis de Renaud Libraca, a great master of French Judaism, who has recently passed away and who was so often returns to the idea of Judaism as a living culture of transmission through Torah, dialogue, talking about dialogue, memory, important for us, and study. I would like to thank Alina, Alfred, and my colleague from the committee for giving me the opportunity to present les Journées européennes de la culture et du patrimoine juif, France, GECPJ France, to you today. GECPJ France today plays a key role in promoting Jewish cultural heritage in France. It brings together municipalities, institution, and association around a shared goal to make known and pass on the heritage that is both physical, material, and intangible. Its work is purely cultural. Our association is secular, open to everybody, and deeply committed to intercultural and interfaith dialogue. Our objectives are to improve understanding of the history of Judaism in France through its cultural heritage, to promote the visibility and appreciation of this rich cultural heritage, to draw from both tangible and intangible heritage elements, to sustain and expand in France the impact of the European Day of Jewish Culture, to encourage cultural exchange and cultural tourism. JECPJ France is structured as follows: a board made up of a president, a general secretary, a treasurer, 4 vice presidents who act as regional coordinator and a representative of the city. JECPJ France represents France within the AEPJ, within its board, the European Day of Jewish Culture Committee, and the European Cultural Route of Jewish Heritage. Our association has 2 main missions. The first is coordinating in France the European Days of Jewish Culture, which allow the general public to discover the richness of Jewish culture and heritage through synagogue, an historic district visit, lectures, exhibition, concert, screening, readings, and meeting around Jewish memory and culture. For this, the regional coordinator are truly the heart and force of our association. They bring it to life, ensure consistency, and uphold the annual theme of the European Days. They do this thanks to their knowledge of Jewish culture, their ability to transmit it, and their strong connection with local authorities such as city council and Jewish community institutions. They also build partnerships that help both to spread and fund their activities. The second mission is developing in France the European Cultural Route of Jewish Heritage, recognized by the Ministry of Culture. I'm talking about the French Ministry of Culture, of course. This route is part of the wider network of major European cultural routes and help place Jewish heritage within a shared European memory. 2025 has been an encouraging year for the European Days of Jewish Culture. The theme Peoples of the Book was a real success. Attendance grew significantly, more than 27,000 visitors. I repeat, 27,000 visitors and participants took part of the event across France, compared with just over 20,000 the previous year. The number of activity increased by more than 10%, and the program expanded to 59 French cities compared to 49 in 2024. These figures show a growing public interest in discovering Jewish culture and heritage, and in the values of dialogue and transmission that these days promote. One of the highlights of the edition was a traveling exhibition, People of the Book, created, and thank you, by the National Library of Israel, translated into French by Journée Européenne de la Culture Juive en France, and shown in several venues. It is still traveling today beyond the JECPJ framework, including in Arcachon and Cannes in French Riviera. The major historical hubs, Alsace, Lorraine, Paris, the French Riviera, and Troyes, remain essential. I just want to give as an example the opening day in September for Paris of the European Day at the Museum of Jewish Art and History, MAJ, which welcomes nearly 2,000 people every year, offering them conferences, visit to the museum, workshop for children, book sales with the presence of writers, and a big sale also. In 2025, the MAJ focuses its day on comics by Jewish authors, a theme that's corresponded perfectly to that of the people of the book. But 2025 also saw very positive geographic expansion. In Occitanie, south of France, new cities like Béziers, Vauvert joined the program. In the Vaucluse, local engagement around the heritage of the Pope Jews, especially in Arcachon and in Sur-Sorgue. In the southwest, Arcachon also took part of the first time. Other regions will join in 2026, including Hauts-de-France, whose capital, Lille, has a synagogue that is over a century old. JEOCPJ France has been actively involved in AEPJ work, European Committee meetings, the coordinators meetings in Barcelona, the European launch in Stockholm, and the program City Embracing Jewish Heritage. Another major step, the official recognition of the route of the Pope Jews in the Vaucluse as part of the European cultural route of Jewish heritage. This is an important milestone for the European visibility of the French Jewish heritage. And at the same time, JEOCPJ France maintains close dialogue with the French Ministry of Culture. We have taken part in national meetings on European cultural route in Paris, and we were invited to present the European cultural route of Jewish heritage on the educational platform epatrimoine.org. Regional partnership has also grown stronger, especially with the GIP Rachine 3. The recent awarding of the European Heritage Label of Rachis of Troyes, a European place of memory, is a major recognition, and JEOCPJ France contributed to this project, to this process. Beyond the results, this experience shows about how important a structured national coordinator really is. JEOCPJ France acts as a bridge between local organizations in France, cities, community, and the AEPJ. We translate, adapt, and circulate AEPJ information, coordinate national reports, harmonize data, and help access European project and funding. This mediation role is essential to ensure consistency at national level and to allow local organizations to fully benefit from European resources. Of course, some challenges remain. The main one is anticipation, to develop more ambitious cultural projects, enrich exhibition, organize conferences, or build stronger partnership with French heritage institutions. We need to know the annual themes much earlier. Better anticipation will also help improve the cultural tools we offer to the public, especially the annual exhibition, which in their current format are sometimes too limited to stand as independent events. Despite these challenges, JEOCPJ France shows that a national coordinator can play a decisive role in structuring a European cultural network, circulating knowledge and passing on an heritage that is fully part of the European history. Through its work, our association, its member and regional coordinator contributes not only to preserving Jewish memory, but also to strengthening dialogue, mutual understanding, and the fight against prejudice. Let me finish by an Elisabeth citation. Memory is the antidote to indifference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominique. And indeed, we all look up to what's happening in France during the European days. And I can personally share that the report of France of the European days, at least in the past year, has had many pages, almost 30 pages. So there was a lot of work. And very well done. And thank you so much. And indeed, it's such a challenge. We can see that it is indeed a very well-established network of coordinators, and this intersection between culture and tourism and roots and museums and communities, it's all there. And this anticipation is definitely a challenge that France needs to face because the target is very high for France. But thank you so much for sharing. I want to also mention that starting with this year, and I think Alfred mentioned yesterday, Régine Bessis is also part of our committee in the European Days. She's an experienced cultural and event professional with a strong background in music, artist management, and nonprofit leadership. and she has proven track record in organizing high-profile events, leading cultural initiatives, and managing artistic projects across France and internationally. So we're hoping that her stepping in the committee will boost our perspectives on how to manage these coming events. Thank you so much, Dominique.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to another well-established network with different challenges, as we will see. We're going to Italy, and from Italy, part of our committee is Michel Nahum Sembira and Rafaela Di Castro. Michel, if you don't mind, I wanna, because you are going to present, right? So, but I'm going to also name Rafaela and tell her a couple of words about her, because she's very involved, and also her input is of extreme relevance. Rafaela Di Castro is a director of Department for Anti-Semitism and Holocaust Remembrance and national coordinator of the European Days in Italy. She's a scholar and cultural organizer with decades of experience in philosophy, Jewish thought, and memory studies. She's an author and educator with a key role in shaping national Holocaust education and Jewish cultural programs in Italy. I want to name everybody who is very much involved in this, and I want people to know you, because it's extremely important to have faces to reach out whenever we meet in other contexts. Now, going back to her colleague and another important member of our committee and national coordinator, Michel Nahum Sembira is a project manager at the Department for Anti-Semitism and Holocaust Remembrance and project manager of the European Days in Italy. She has worked for the Union of Italian Jewish Communities and JDC, leading initiatives on Holocaust remembrance, youth empowerment, and Jewish cultural engagement, combining, of course, creativity, communication, and care for the community needs. Ladies, welcome. Michelle, try to fit in the 10 minutes so that we can save some times at the end of this session to know each other and have the session of questions and answers. Please.
Yes. Thank you, Alina. Just one word to say something about UCEI that now changed in our department. It's changed the name. And before we were this big machine, was like anti-Semitism, memory, but now it's the cultural area, the cultural department. So it represents more what we are doing. Of course, we are coordinating the European Days of Jewish Culture. I'm going to share my screen. I prepared a short presentation. Just a second. Okay. Okay. So UCEI is the Union of Italian Jewish Communities. We have 21 communities, some sections of the communities, but when it comes to European Days of Jewish Culture, we have and we manage more than 100 places all over Italy. And you will see now, I didn't put all the pins all over Italy, but just to give you an idea, we cover 17 regions out of 20. We gained one region last year. There were 16. So we have realities that are very different from one to the other. We have realities where we have still communities. We have realities where we don't have communities, but we had communities in the medieval time or in 18th, 19th centuries, and we do have a lot of places where Judaism and not ended, but was expelled with the exiles from Spain, and it was all the south of Italy. We do have a lot of places from the south of Italy, so we deal with, as Dominique said, with tangible and intangible heritage. Italy is part of European Days of Jewish Culture since the first edition. So we are now hitting the 27th edition. Of course, we grew from the beginning until now. We have a great relationship with institution. I'm going to get there. So here you see a few pictures of what when I say we, I want to say that we as UCEI, we work with the head city, but we as Italy, we have a lot of different initiatives. So we have things for kids, concerts, cooking lessons. We have museums. Every place tries to shape the topic and the heritage it had to welcome the audience. What do we do as coordinator to help them? So we have two channels. So we work for the national European Day, for the national idea. So we work on national sponsorships that normally are non-financial, but we have the sponsorship of the Ministry of Education, of the Minister of Culture, of the Presidents of Republic. We have the Minister of Tourism. We have the sponsor of ANCI. ANCI is the umbrella of all the municipalities. Yes, thank you. In Italy, and since a couple of years, we have the sponsorship of UNAR, that is the office inside of the government that deals with the fighting discriminations. So we really work with the institution, and we are very well recognized by the institutions. In the last years, we also gained other smaller, I would say, but are very important too, sponsorship, and one of them is the Treccani. Treccani is the institution. Help me, Raffaella. Sorry, Treccani. The encyclopedia. It's like the institution when it comes to Italian language and culture. So for us, it's very important, this dialogue that started a few years ago, and it's a very good one. So they are, yes, now they give us the sponsorship and they help us communicating, and we are building things. And this is like on a national level. We also build every year a sort of think tank for the contents. So we find experts on the topic, and we start a meeting to deepen and find different shades of the topic to propose to all the coordinate the reference of the places. Sort of what we are doing here, we do it on a national level. And in next week, we are going to do a seminar. We're going to have a seminar for Italian, all the Italian coordinator of small places in order to bring ideas and declination of the topic, suggestion on how to use, implement, and work on it, as we are doing here. To do that, we involved many experts. They are like Jewish studies, Jewish experts. We have artists, we have philosophers, we have a lot of different expertise in that. We communicate, we collect the programs of all the places, and we upload them on our website. So we have a website. I'm not going to share it now with you, but I will send the link of last year's website, because on the website we upload not only the programs of all the places in Italy, but we have also a focus on the head city, the stories, the places, and the focus on the topic, of course. About the communication, we also work as a press office for a national wide. So we release we have press release national and regional. So we work in any region, we collect, and we have specific communication for each reasons. And at the end of the programs, we collect all the reports and we report them to UCEI's inside and also to you. Here you have like some examples of what's happening and some example of communication, social communication. We work on the topic that was the year of languages. So we involved in doing that all the communities and the places. We embrace, of course, and we love the exhibition of National Library. What we do is translate the exhibition for the Italian public, and then we share them. We shared it with all the places, and they are going to decide if they wanna to print it or use it. We put it also on the website. This example, it was an exhibition that we as UCEI did. But it's always very asked, the exhibition or the material that the National Library is giving. We always get questions like when it's ready, they are expecting it. So we are very happy to also to change the format, and we will let you know how we'll go with that. And what we do for the national wise, we work with the graphic that we receive from the European coordination, and we prepared a sort of template for all of coordinators. We give them save the date, poster. We give them templates for programs that they can use with all the logos and places where to put their own logos, and also the spare items if they have good graphic. Not all of them. We work also with very small realities, so they need something like that. For them, it's much easier to use what we give them, and like that we have a stronger communication about European Days of Jewish Culture, as the identity is the same. About the topic, we agree with Dominique also that it would be very important to have a topic. I think we got it earlier this year than the previous ones, but yes, it's very important to have the topic much earlier in order to start working on time and prepare and be on time for the coordination, the national coordinators, because a lot of them, it's true. I would say just one thing: we need to adapt to different kind of realities. We work with communities that are very, very independent. There are communities that can do all the work that we do by themselves. Sometimes they are ready even before us. But we have a lot of realities that really need a hand in dealing with in declining the topic. This is what we do national-wise, and we work and we organize. We enter in the programming of the head city. So in terms of organization and programming, we work only with head city every year. So sorry, I think I took more than 10 minutes, but I don't know if Raffaella has a few words to add.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Raffaella, is there anything?
Just one thing. It's 2 years that we have also the partnership, the media partnership of the Italian radio television service, the national one, that after the date published on the website, the RAI website, different many video on the activities during the day itself, and also interviews to artists, experts, and I think this is a very important goal we reached. And also that we try to take advantage of the team, every year team, to study ourselves as Italian communities. And my desire, Michelle and my desire, is to make even bigger, even more important, and to use this study, this thinking about the different subjects all over the year. So that's why also it would be very useful to have the thing before, to do many other activities during the year. Thank you very much for
Thank you. Thank you, Raffaella, and thank you, Michelle. I have to confess that once I took over the management of the European Days, Italy was the first, well, maybe the second country I went to and see how this type of events are organized and the result. And it was indeed a very inspiring moment, a couple of days. And for sure, you can see that there's a lot of experience in what you do. And I don't want to let all the other coordinators feel intimidated by these major pillars of organizations. Because this takes...
We need to hear also from you, so...
And there are other kinds of organizations that do a wonderful job. And one of the examples is going to follow next. And I hope Michael Schreiber is here.
Yes.
Yes. Hold on. I think Mark needs to find you. Yes. Hello, Michael.
Hi.
Michael is representing the Research Society of Burgenland. He works with Alfred Lang, our colleague and chair of the committee, and he will be the one talking to us on how does a small organization manages to coordinate the European Days in this particular case in Austria. Michael, if you can do it in 10 minutes, we will be greatly appreciative.
I'll try. Can you see the screen, the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me start by saying thank you for this opportunity to present a small aspect of the work of the Research Society Burgenland within the framework or within the context of the European Days of Jewish Culture. As already mentioned, my name is Michael Schreiber. I have been the managing director of the Research Society since 2025 and have been responsible for program design and planning, as well as the coordination and organization of the European Days of Jewish Culture for several years now. So that's my brief introduction. And as a very, very small institution, I mean, we can't really compete with France or Italy, but as a small institution, the Research Society has been initiating, organizing, and coordinating the European Days since 2014. initially only in Burgenland, but nowadays we are doing that throughout almost the entire eastern part of Austria. Perhaps we should take a brief look at the geography to, just a second. To help you picturing it. The gray shaded area on the left shows Burgenland. It is a small Austrian province in the far east, bordering Slovakia in the far north, Slovenia in the far south, but Burgenland mainly borders Hungary. So if you're heading east of Burgenland, you'll most probably come to Hungary. We've been organizing events here from 2014 to 2023. And since 2023, as you can see in the picture on the right, we have been organizing events in the provinces of Burgenland, Vienna, and Lower Austria. This essentially covers the entire eastern part of Austria. And this shows like the geographical growth of the European Days of Jewish Culture in Austria in the past few years. So when it comes to Burgenland in particular, we are in a unique position, something I try to emphasize at almost every meeting we're having. This is because there has been no active Jewish community here since 1938. This is the result of the Nazi policy. Jews were expelled and later murdered, and the communities were devastated and destroyed. And after 1945, none of these 13 former Jewish communities that once existed in Burgenland were re-established. So this means that we are a non-Jewish research institution that has a thematic focus on the Jewish history of the region. And we are trying to present topics related to the region's former Jewish communities within the framework of the European Days of Jewish Culture to an almost exclusively non-Jewish audience. This also applies to most of our partners, meaning all those institutions or persons cooperating with us and who organize events locally. This is a significant piece of information, as it is something that sets us apart from most other regions where the European Days of Jewish Culture are being organized, at least as far as I understand it. This is because in most cases, there are at least partnerships with Jewish institutions or communities if they do not organize the days themselves. So what I'm getting at is that the events that we are organizing and that are made possible here are just possible mainly because there are initiatives such as our institutions, both public and private, that are committed to bring the region's Jewish history and culture to the public. And as a result, local events very often, although not exclusively, take the form of events within the framework of commemoration and remembrance of the former Jewish communities that once existed here. And as we will see in a moment, this goes down very well with the audience, meaning there is a big public that is interested in this topic. I have tried to draw up a brief review of the European Days of Jewish Culture here in Austria from 2014 to 2025. So I've prepared 4 charts designed to illustrate some of the trends in the European Days of Jewish Culture, showing the number of participants, the number of hosting locations, the number of events, the number of days on which these events take place. And altogether, these charts are meant to show and underline a steady trend over the past few years. So first, let's have a look at this chart showing the participating locations. As you can see, we made a modest start in 2014, first European Days of Jewish Culture here in Burgenland. Back then, there were several events in a total of 6 locations. all of them in Burgenland. Since then, the number of participating locations have, in some years, more than doubled. Some of the locations have taken part every year since 2014. Others joined later, and others have dropped out. So there is both steadiness and flowing and growing. What is interesting in this context is that whilst most of these events are mainly taking place in former Jewish communities, they are by no means the only ones. This shows that events can also be held in places with little or almost no connection to Judaism, which is, at least to us, very encouraging and demonstrates that interest in the subject is growing even beyond the former Jewish communities. The next slide, or the second chart, shows the increase in the number of events. From an initial 9 events in 2014, we have held 21 events last year. As you can see, there's a notable dip in 2020. This is due to COVID pandemic, and as a result, we were only able to hold the European Days of Jewish Culture online. This also continues 2021, when people were very careful attending on-site events. But the trend here is clearly showing upwards, meaning the number of individual events is growing slowly but steadily, with a significant jump, I have to mention, occurring in 2023. This is because from that point onward, we were no longer active just in Burgenland, but also in Vienna and Lower Austria, meaning from 2023 onward, we were covering the entire eastern part of Austria. This, in turn, is because we've received a substantial support from the AEPJ in 2023. This gave us a significant boost and enabled us to expand the European Days of Jewish Culture. And since then, we have been trying to maintain this level, despite a drastic reduction in our financial scope. The type of events that we are organizing is also very diverse, from film screenings to guided tours, lectures, and readings, up to study trips. And all these events, and this is very important to us, are freely accessible, meaning you don't have to pay a fee. So yeah, we are trying to create a very broad variety of different events to reach as many people as possible. The third chart shows how the dates themselves have evolved. For us, most of the European Days of Jewish Cultures were restricted to the first Sunday of September. This caused a bit of a problem for us for several reasons. Firstly, it always falls on the last day of summer holidays at our schools. This means we couldn't organize any of the activities we would otherwise have been able to run with schools. And especially teachers are multipliers we want to reach. Furthermore, working on these issues with schools is also very important and helps to prevent and combat anti-Semitism. On the other hand, whilst we have always tried to coordinate the timing of events on this day, so that as many people as possible can attend the individual events, this is often not feasible due to the geography of the region. Burgenland stretches some 150 kilometers from north to south, after all. And yeah, we have often heard from attendees that they would have liked to attend another event as well, but that this isn't possible when everything takes place on the same day. So as a result, some events have ended up competing with one another and drawing away the audience. With the introduction of the European Days of Jewish Culture, not the European Day, but the Days of Jewish Culture, it is now much easier to plan, and we can better involve schools and the public So this is also leading to an increase in attendance figures that I will show you on the next slide. So the last chart is also very easy to read because the trend goes upward. It shows the number of participants since 2014. Here, as well as in the other chart, there is a dip in 2020. This is due to COVID and the fact that I've only included participants at in-person events. So that said, and based on the number of views of the digital content that we've created in 2020, we know that it received several thousand views from all over the world. So this whole COVID period, 2020, was kind of an exception. Yet 2020 was successful, but in a different way. Yeah. And finally, last year, for the first time, we had just over 1,000 participants throughout all of our events. So as I've mentioned, numbers are growing slowly, but steadily. Yeah, all of this shows that the European Days of Jewish Culture have become a success story, at least for us, meaning that all the figures are on the rise. What remains, however, is our financial leeway that is extremely limited. As a small NGO without other financially strong institutions standing behind us and supporting us, we are reliant on public funding. And in the case of the European Days of Jewish Culture, these grants are super small. They usually range between 2,000 and 3,000 euros for approximately 20 events. So this is like super tight budget. Relying just on this funding alone would not make the European Days of Jewish Culture possible for us. So the European Days can therefore only be realized through partnerships and cooperation within the region. It is therefore essential to motivate locals, authorities, institutions, individuals, and so on. However, when it comes to institutions and individuals in particular, it is true, at least for this region, that they are mainly people who, on the one hand, have strong local roots and are interested in the history of the region, but are, on the other hand, no longer of working age. In other words, they're pensioners. And the problem with that is that it is becoming increasingly difficult to find younger people in these communities who are willing to follow in their footsteps and taking over. So the only way to continue working at this level, at least from my point of view, is to keep growing and spread the European Days of Jewish Culture, raise the profile of the European Days of Jewish Culture even further, and thereby boost interest in the subject. I think that's the only path we can go along. But despite all these staffing and financial challenges, we are optimistic that the European Days of Jewish Culture will remain an integral part of our activities, of our work here, just as it has in recent years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. What I marked down is a few characteristics of what you just told me, some consistency, a little bit of flexibility in various contexts, adaptation, knowing your audience and their resonance and expectations, partnership and cooperation when you don't have extreme funding or good funding. And I really liked, and I took it very seriously, to raise the profile of the European Days. And I think this is where we are heading slowly. So thank you so much for this intervention. Dear friends, I would invite you to take 5 minutes break, and then we will come back with Nives Weissman from Croatia, and then Natalia Tolok from Ukraine, and our colleague Marc Francaise, and then a couple of words from our colleague Paul from the communication, and then hopefully we will have time to meet in breakout rooms and start knowing each other a little bit better and ask some serious questions. We'll be back in 5 minutes. And we are back. Hello, everyone, again. I hope you can see me and hear me. I need one thumb up, maybe. Yes. Yes, thank you. Good. And we're back to find out how the European Days of Jewish Culture is organized in Croatia. And we chose Croatia. Hello, Nives, because beyond the very disciplined coordinator, I look up to everybody who organizes European Days, but Nives is a specific case. She's extremely organized, on time, paying attention to everything what's happening under her coordination. Lots of places, lots of events, a variety and complexity of events. And she's here to share with you how do they manage to do it in Croatia. But before I give her the floor, I want to tell you that she is a Croatian educator and cultural organizer. She's a trained mathematics and physics teacher. I can see that. She has long been active in the Jewish community of Osijek. Yes? Osijek. Okay. In 1998, she founded the Israeli folk dance group, Haverim Shel Israel. She has led the community Sunday school since 2005 and organizes Jewish holiday events. She worked in the Pirovat Jewish Children's Camp from 2004 to 2015, including as its manager, and has coordinated the European Days of Jewish Culture since 2012. She is also a writer, an editor for the Jewish community publications, and frequently gives lectures on Jewish traditions. And Nives has a presentation. Welcome. I'm gonna share your presentation in just one moment. And let me know if you see it.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see it. Just put the slideshow, please.
Yes, I can't. Okay, now.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Alina, for a lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. I don't want to talk about coordinating European Days of Jewish Culture in Croatia because that works normally. In Croatia, usually participates 5 or 6 cities, and we started from the, I think, second year, I think from 2000. I'm not so sure, but I think from the beginning almost. I don't want to talk about the other things that I'm doing in the community. I want to talk about something specific. Besides all the things that I do in the community, I'm also an organizer of the festival Month of Jewish Culture. We in Osijek have Month of Jewish Culture for the last 6 years. That means that our European Days of Jewish Culture has grown and become the whole month. How did we start the Month of Jewish Culture after so many years of European Day of Jewish Culture? The director of Croatian National Theatre in our city suggested that we should try to do it. And in the beginning, it looked like we cannot make it, like we are not going to have enough programs for the whole month. It will be too expensive. Who should do all the work, etc. But idea was there, and we decided to give it a shot. We wanted to try. We had an idea at first to make at least activities during every weekend in September. But when we started to fill the program, it became obvious that we would have the activities every day during the September. So from that year, it was 2021, we are starting our festival on the first Sunday in September, and it lasts 3, 4, sometimes even 5 weeks. So Alina gave us a few tips on what we should talk about. So I will follow them. I will try at least. When we talk about the role of a coordinator in our community, I do all the work on this project myself. Unfortunately, it's a one-man job. I'm not very happy about it, but it's the way it is. The community president helps me with the decisions and financing. The secretary is helping with some small things, and some members occasionally drop in and help by hosting. So I'm an organizer. I arrange activities with all the artists and lecturers, find spaces where activities will take place, contact the media. Later through September, I put everything every day on social media, welcome the performers, take them to dinner, negotiate with schools, and send notification to all associates to ensure that attendance is as high as possible. Shortly, everything. And I think there is no other way. If you don't have people who wants to work, as we don't have, and you want the festival to be successful, you just accept it and do the job. So that's what the coordinator should do. Our members come to the activities and they are happy that we have this festival, but they are not in the first line when working is in the picture. I suppose we are not the only one with that kind of situation. That's a sad situation, but it's the way it is. Partnerships are important. We have a lot of partners in our cities. We have the museums and theaters and libraries, schools, faculties, other religious communities. Almost all the most important institutions are involved. And we go beyond Osijek. We have activities in the region, in the surrounding cities. Last year, we had a cooperation with Haver Serbia, JCC Global, and Jewish Agency for Israel. And we organized a beautiful Shabbaton with communities from Belgrade and Sarajevo. I want to say a few words about that. We had Orthodox Chazan from Sarajevo and Reform Rabbi from Israel. It was really, really special. They both ran services together, and it showed us what unity and mutual respect truly mean. During that weekend, we watched the short movie Sevat Mitzvah. This movie is about one Muslim family who saved one Jewish family in the Second World War. And then 50 years later, the same Jewish family saved that Muslim family during the war in Bosnia. And after that touching film, we had a panel discussion named Friendship in the Times of Evil. During the weekend, we visited the Museum of Personal Stories, where are the stories of Jews beside the stories of other minorities. And we also had a guided tour of Jewish heritage sites in our city. We also had the privilege of attending an inspiring lecture from Reform Judaism and its role in today's Jewish world. And it was one weekend, so you can get the picture how the month of Jewish culture looks like. We have a lot of different activities, lectures and theater plays and concerts, workshops, exhibitions, even sport tournaments. I don't want to go into the details about all the activities we had, but you can find them on internet. Our activities are free for all the participants, and participants are mostly non-Jews. We cover our finances mainly from our own sources. We get little help from the authorities. Last year, Jewish Agency for Israel also helped. When we talk about challenges, challenges are anti-Semitism. We are afraid that something will happen during the festival because citizens are coming to the events and we don't control who is going to show up. Big challenge is the lack of members who are willing to help with the organization. We could use some help in funding the festival. We try to keep our events as closely related to the main theme as possible. It's not always possible, but we are trying. We usually use the material from National Library of Israel. The library's material has always been very well received. Many people have asked us where we got such a high quality exhibitions. We are in contact with AEPJ, Alina and Victor, and the previous coordinators. We are using the materials. We are trying to be visible through the website and through social media. I hope that things will be even better if the project Jewish Sounds of Europe succeed. We are hoping for that. I think we would benefit from greater cooperation between coordinators from different countries. It would be good if we could have meetings more often in person or at least online, like this one. And I think that's all that I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Nives. Thank you. You have a question in the chat. Maybe you can take care of it once we move on. It's something related to the movie you mentioned.
Yes, I will write the name. Yeah.
Thank you again. So you see, it's almost unbelievable, but apparently it's possible that a handful of people, occasionally one person, can do so many things. It's possible. Well, she's a mathematician, so maybe that's behind her. That's her secret. Who knows? Thank you so much, Nives, for the inspiration.
Thank you, Alina.
And we look forward to seeing the numerous and the variety of events that you organize every year and you coordinate. Moving forward, we're going to a different place with more challenges, and we're going to Ukraine. Natalia Tolok, who is with us, and there she is. Hello, Natalia.
Hello, Alina. Hello, everybody, dear colleagues and friends.
When we had the meeting within the committee, we said that we should keep in mind our colleagues who are less fortunate than us. There are many places with the challenges. We all have them, but I guess under the circumstances, Ukraine is not doing well at all. And we would like to see how you stand, because you are active within the European Days of Jewish Culture. And before I let you speak, Natalia, I would just like to introduce you. She's the head of the Hillel in Lviv Jewish Youth Organization. She's an executive director and project manager of the NGO Lemberik. It's an NGO that deals with the preservation and promotion of Jewish cultural heritage. She's a Jewish community leader, participant in the Yiddish Summer School in Weimar. She's a researcher of Jewish vernacular dance, soloist dancer, and choreographer of the choreographic group Jewish Miniatures. She's a tour guide of Jewish Lviv and the western region of Ukraine with 25 years of experience. Natalia, tell us a little bit about how's the European Days going in Ukraine under the challenges, the circumstances, and if you can do it within 10 minutes, we would appreciate it.
I will do my best, try to do my best. Thank you, Alina, and for the invitation and for such a wonderful introduction. Ending with my not official activity like dancing and everything, although I'm really very fond of it. And this is one of the ways that brought me to the issue of the preservation of the Jewish intangible heritage. Although I have been working for about 25 years as a tour guide and a promoter of the also tangible Jewish heritage in Lviv and the region. And actually, unfortunately, I cannot just give a substantial presentation about the long-term activity here within the frames of the European Days of Jewish Heritage, because we just rushed into it, I think, last year. So there was one attempt in 23 to organize one event here. for the European Days of Jewish Heritage, although it was October 23, so it was a very small event, so we can't take it into consideration. So 25 was just the starting point, I can say. And as I don't, there can be a long introduction, first historical, about the rich past, the Jewish past, the history, the culture, the Eastern European Jewry here, and actually the historical changes that happen here. And but the one point that I want to emphasize, that it sometimes maybe doesn't come to mind when we talk about the events and the preservation of Jewish heritage in European countries. Our situation differs because of the historical conditions, and after this Soviet Union period. Actually, only in the 1990s, the Jewish life revived in this area, and actually it brought back the traditions, the culture, the history and actually formed again the Jewish community here. And it gave birth to different organizations, including Hillel, that I am the head of, and many others that started organizing different events, projects, even festivals. We had a wonderful klezmer music festival for 10 years here in Lviv and in many other cities of Ukraine. So actually the life was quite vibrant and active. Actually, it came to the situation that it seems to me in 2010 and later, non-Jewish organizations were also initiating different events and projects for the preservation of Jewish culture. But it all stopped. First, it froze in COVID period and with coronavirus. And of course, the full-scale invasion in Ukraine, it just stopped all the activity here. And so we just faced the question if culture generally is relevant to talk about or just to do something about it, saying nothing about the Jewish one. So it was really the issue in 22 and 23. But anyway, we just saw how
Vuoi
important.
chiamare adesso incontri mezzo mondo?
Sorry, I thought it was a question. Yeah. So, but actually, what I personally faced and what I saw that actually the culture, the Jewish culture in the community life. Or between the communities and from different parts of Ukraine. We have lots of refugees from different parts of Ukraine in Lviv. I live in the western part near the Polish border, so it's relatively safe area. So we say relatively, but anyway, many people came here and stayed. So we saw how culture is vitally important, Jewish culture, I mean. And so we started organizing different events, concerts, exhibitions, theater performances for holidays mostly, but yeah, anyway, so it goes on, and this is why I think our experience is right now similar to the experience of Croatia and maybe other countries. I'm the only initiator and a coordinator of these days that started last year. But I will try to share with you my short presentation if it opens. Oh, sorry. This one. Can you see the presentation? Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, European Days of Jewish Culture. So actually, yeah, so you can see the program. So we started with the idea of 2 events here in Lviv and Lviv region, cooperating with the municipalities, and it should be a concert Sholem and the regional tour, but actually it grew to 9 events that were supported by different organizations. I can just have a fast scroll, yeah? So it goes on, yeah? Does it?
Yes, it's not a slideshow, but we can see the images.
It's not a slide. Yeah, you can see, I think, the back, the side of it, yeah?
Yes.
But okay, not to take time to have a proper. So I will just go on with this, hoping that you can see at least something. Yeah. So this is just briefly what events happened last year. So there was different excursions, tours in the city, so dedicated to the topic, the people of the book. Also in the region from Zhovkva to Drogobych by the traces of Jewish authors describing our region. So these were the visits to the museum. So actually the museum by the traces of Galician Jews organized an event there. And also non-Jewish organizations supported the idea. So this lecture happened in the photographic museum and was led by the lecturer of the Polytechnic University about the restoration of Jewish written artifacts. So actually, so it was non-Jewish initiative on the topic. And also our longtime partner, the Center for Urban History, also supported the idea of the Yiddish teacher to talk about Sefer and book, male and female, in the in Jewish literature. And of course, we really deeply appreciate the opportunity to present the exhibition of National Library of Israel, People of the Book, that we translated into Ukrainian. That was the initiative of our youth organization, Hillel, and it was presented in the Honorary Consulate of Israel in Lviv. And also our guests from abroad came to, actually several people intended to come, but one really came, Yuri Vidinyapin, and so we had a meeting and concert meeting with him. And also the highlight of the days was the big concert Sholem, where our dancing group, this musical groups, and Yuri Vidinyapin just presented a program of support for Ukraine, and actually combined with the Jewish culture and everything that can be related to these 2 topics in a wonderful concert in our first theater for about 400 people. So generally, as you can see, 9 events in Lviv and the region. So about 5 organizations involved, Jewish and non-Jewish. The city municipality and the regional council support also for the regional tour. So it was quite a good result for the beginning, for the start. And for this year, thank you, Alina, for suggestions to spread our efforts. And right now I am working with other Jewish organizations in other cities of Ukraine. So we have just agreement with Vinnytsia, Odessa, could be Kiev, I hope for Chernivtsi, and of course other cities of Lviv region like Brody, Drogobych, and Sokal, this smaller, the former shtetls. So they are really open to organize the events on their locations. So I believe in the bright future in many aspects, and especially for the European Days of Jewish Culture here. I don't know how much time I covered.
You're doing well. If there's anything else you want to add, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt anybody because this is the time when we are together and everybody has the possibility to speak and to know what's going on in their field. But if there was that was it for now. Natalia, thank you so much. I cannot, I'm not sure how many people have been to Ukraine lately since the war started, but I can share with everybody that I have participated to events that were organized during the war. Brave women, because there were especially women who were in charge of these events, without light, only generators, without heat, in the middle of the winter, with sirens on, and it's unbelievable what people can do out of passion, and the passion for the Jewish heritage. If we can all feel it everywhere in Europe, definitely in Ukraine, you can feel it on a different dimension due to the actual context. Thank you, Natalia. Wishing you best of luck. And
thank you. Thank you so much for your support. If not your support, so it wouldn't be so.
Yes, we're here. We're here, all of us. Thank you again. Now let's move a little bit further. It's my greatest pleasure and honor to make my colleague on the spotlight, to put him on the spotlight. I'm talking about Mark. I mean, he put himself in the spotlight because he's the manager of spotlights today. And indeed, Mark needs to be spotlighted because he's been managing a very beautiful project, and I'm often jealous of him. Not that the European days are not equally brilliant, but Mark is a cultural manager and consultant specializing in analysis and strategic planning of museums and cultural heritage organizations. His work focuses on cultural governance, the relationship between culture and education, and European Jewish Heritage Cooperation. As project manager of the European Roots of Jewish Heritage, as you all know, a cultural route certified by the Council of Europe. And Mark, today, we ask him to share some thoughts and reflections on the intersection between Jewish heritage and cultural roots, and the innovative means to use all these resources for a better celebration of the European days. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Alina. Let me take you from the spotlight for a while. I think I don't have that much of a nice background for the presentation as you do with this new image and branding for the days. Our one will come soon, hopefully. This one is a little bit old. So for this afternoon, I prepared a short presentation to highlight the connection between the roots concept and the European Days of Jewish culture concept. For people who are in the room who may not know about the Roots program, is a certification that AEPJ got in 2004 from the Council of Europe. This is actually one of the first cultural routes certified by the Council of Europe. Nowadays, almost 50 different cultural routes all along Europe certified by this program, which is fostering mainly shared sense on the European cultural identities through different branches or different priorities. Yeah, one of them, the fourth one, mainly connected to the contemporary culture and artistic practice. So to me, very, very, very close to the activities of the European Days. So despite at AEPJ, we have been managing these programs separately for, I would say, since the very beginning. We are sharing not only the purposes, but as well the ways to develop our projects. I've been picking some of the descriptions by the Council of Europe regarding these priorities. So I will share them swiftly, and when we will be in the break rooms, people who will be with me, we can go a little bit more in depth into the topic if you wish. Yeah. So we will not discuss about the 5 of them, but only a few topics that are related to this concept of the cultural practices and contemporary arts. Yeah, and when talking about research and the outputs of research, we believe that this is one of the key roles of both the European Days and the European Roots to contribute to this bringing together this knowledge, or bringing together the outputs of this research. This is one of the main actions that, as a cultural root, as the European Days, we are bringing to the spotlight, because we are managing to highlight plenty of different nuances, plenty of different identities, assets of these characteristics of Jewish life or in the history of Europe. On the other hand, the contribution to the European values through not only the heritage interpretation, but as well the cultural participation, as the Jewish values are a part that we cannot distinguish from the European itself. Yeah, bringing this interdisciplinary analysis or processes at the practical level means that the process of creation, the process of the artistic research brings as well an opportunity for this heritage to be understood, and this storytelling to find out about this heritage to be developed in multiple ways. So on the second hand, regarding the enhancement of memory and history at the European level, highlighting its significance, the similarities between different regions of Europe and the differences within Jewish culture and history in Europe, can find again in the European Days one of the most relevant moments all along the year, not only because of the multiple activities being developed, but as well because of the different ways that we are developing to organize these events. As well, something to highlight the Sustainable Development Goals contribution, or the contribution to them, that said, as culture per se is not within any of them, but cultural heritage is contributing to many of these ones, mainly in terms of contributing to local identities preservation, contributing to educational purposes and projects, and contributing as well to the quality of life in the local context. So highlighting this last of the three dots in the slide regarding this contribution in the development in rural areas or outside of the mainstream areas, we believe that the cultural roots and as well the days are bringing a great opportunity, because we can foster the development of these initiatives outside of the places where we have the main institutions, such as the capitals and main cities. If we carry on with this topic, it is one of the concerns of the Council of Europe to highlight the importance of social, ethnic, cultural minorities in Europe. So understanding that the contribution of every single cultural minority in Europe has been key to the understanding of European history and culture is one of our duties. Organizing trainings, events for peer-to-peer learning development, or fostering better awareness between practitioners is as well another one. And I would say this precise event, the coordinators meeting, is a great contribution. So I feel there are many similarities with the activities we develop more specifically for the roots. And last but not least, regarding cultural and educational exchanges, I think that the contribution of arts, so many of the events of the days as well, are contributing to these real life experiences. So bringing citizens closer to heritage, closer to these narratives through different ways for the heritage interpretation. Collaboration with educational institutions, as for instance, Michael was highlighting before, is one of the keys in that sense, and one of our priorities for a close future from the roots perspective. If we move more specifically into the contemporary cultural and artistic practice, we believe this is a great opportunity for debate and exchange, a great opportunity to raise awareness through this safe space for dialogue, and to open this intercultural dialogue means that we need to open our cultural spaces to other cultural groups, other citizens. We believe one of the most important strengths of the European Days of Jewish Culture is the capacity to bring these spaces to citizens that are not engaging along the year, usually with this kind of cultural events. And artistic projects in this regard display a very important role. So again, we consider that fostering these initiatives that can contribute to the understanding, the interpretation of heritage is extremely relevant. Yeah, to do that in an innovative way is, of course, one of the permanent tasks to be addressed. And from the interpretation of heritage perspective, we think that, well, there's a lot to learn from, but again, we have as well many learnings that we can take from many of the partners in this network. So working as a network is one of the main priorities for AEPJ, because the sense of AEPJ is working as a network. We are at your disposal for any not only needs, but as well interests on how to connect in a more relevant way with the Cultural Roots program. And yeah, here you have my email, but there we go. I think not many presentations are needed. I would say that most of the countries represented today in this meeting are as well participating in different stages in the roots. The ones that are not, but would like to consider that, very happy to open conversations if appropriate. Yeah, Alina, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Usually Mark takes a lot of time to speak about his beloved project. I think today he's making me a favor, keeping it short. Let me remind everybody, for those who don't know, whenever we think of the European Days of Jewish culture, of course, AEPJ is about work within a network or various networks. But when we think about the European Days of Jewish Culture, there are several pillars that we count on. Of course, one of the solid ones are the Jewish communities. Then there are the museums, and there are some represented here. And of course, the roots that Mark was talking about. Of course, the academia environment is also part of our focus, with private professionals as well. So whenever you think of how to organize the European Days of Jewish Culture, think about these 3-4 major pillars and reach out to all of them. Just make this inventory of these resources within your area, and I'm sure with joint efforts, the European Days will become what they need to be. Before moving on, I would like to introduce my colleague Paul, who runs the hold on, Paul, the communication a section of AEPJ, just because I want everybody to know our faces whenever you write to us, so that we can have a picture. Who are you writing? How do we look? How do we smile? This is Paul. He's managing all the communications for the European Days, but also for the AEPJ. Paul, please introduce yourself. Let's begin with this, and let our colleagues know how you and us can help them in terms of communication and visibility.
Of course, thank you, Alina, and hello, everybody. Most of you know me already, but to those of you who don't, I'm Paul. I'm the communications officer here at AEPJ. As Alina said, I'm going to be brief. I don't have a presentation to make here. I just want you to remember my face and my name. Well, not my face, just remember my name. And then, as we've been saying, the point of AEPJ here is that we, apart from organizing the European Days, we want to be facilitators. We want to be a network, and we want people to feel part of a bigger connected network. So the way we can help you in that with your events on the communications side is helping you amplify and announce your events, or also provide advice, tips and tricks, as well as a graphic material like the one provided so far, the modular design that we've been sharing for the poster this year in relation to the theme love. So AEPJ can help disseminate your events, I would say mainly through two means, one being our newsletter. Important to mention that if you are not signed up to our newsletter and would like to be, you can do so through our website. Also, make sure anybody in your organization who you would like to be aware of what is going on at AEPJ is signed up. So do us a favor and spread that newsletter, because the more people are signed up, the more useful it is for everyone. We have different kinds of newsletters. There's a generic one that goes out to all audiences, but then we also have internal affairs newsletters. Important to be subscribed to these because two things. One, if you are an AEPJ member, I don't think everybody here is, but most of you are. If you're an AEPJ member, once a month, you have the opportunity to share with us a small news item or story or event that you would like us to share with the rest of your network. And again, I'm the contact person for that, so we would make that happen. Secondly, we often share opportunities, be they grants, calls for participants, or sometimes stories of contacts who are looking for information or people, all of which are interesting opportunities for your networks to be aware of. So I recommend subscribing to the newsletter, but also partaking in it, taking advantage of it. Secondly, our social media channels. Once you start organizing your events and you upload your event descriptions to our website, be in touch with me for thinking of ways to promote them on social media. I mean, that can be something as simple as a collaboration on Instagram, for example, tagging on Facebook or LinkedIn. Or we could look at a broader communications campaign if necessary and or warranted. And I think that's all I have to say really for now. And yeah, any other questions, do be in touch. And I am going to be in one of the breakout rooms now, so I can elaborate further if you have questions on any of these matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Moving forward, we saved a lot of time today. Thank you so much, everyone. And we're gonna go in breakout rooms. But before that, let me just tell you, each of us, Victor and Sonia and Paul and I, will be leading one of the breakout rooms. And whatever we have a profile for the breakout room, but if you just happen to be in one and there's nothing that it's not the right one, feel free to share your inquiry and question or issue that you want to raise. And if we are unable to answer, we'll take it to the plenary session once the breakout room session is done. I have here a set of questions and issues raised through the form. There are a variety of questions and issues, from proposal for events to questions, simple questions about the recording. Somebody's asking for a certificate. I'm just making sure that everybody, all of us, we have circulated this list of inquiries and questions and issues. So if you happen to be in one of the breakout rooms and you want to address the question, hopefully we are prepared to answer them. If not, we will get back to it on the plenary session. And if that's not also possible to have an answer, we will get back to you privately via an email to further discuss. Some of them are complex issues, like Vivian Collard. I think she's very much interested in how to develop the theme within a frame beyond the spiritual one. Having said that, I suggest we break out now in rooms and then we come back, let's say half an hour later. And we will have the plenary session. And what I encourage you to do first in the breakout rooms, ask questions, raise issues. I think there will be time, because we're not that many, to introduce ourselves within the breakout rooms, so everybody can meet everybody first, and then start talking about whatever is important and relevant to you in order to have the European Days of Jewish Culture organized within the 2026 in a proper way, relevant and resonant with your public. Mark?
So yesterday we distributed participants. Sorry, I will spotlight myself. Yesterday we distributed you automatically. Today you may choose. So we are opening 5 rooms where you can pick between navigating financial challenges with Victor, using the theme and event formats with Alina, the EDJC and interfaith partnerships with Sonia, communication, visibility and outreach with Paul, and cultural heritage mediation with me. Yeah. So if anyone has any issue at finding out how to do that, you can type in the chat requesting which of the 5 rooms would you like to join, and we will try to help you on that. Yeah. So people who cannot find, such as Anita, in the options of the Zoom, you may have, for instance, chat, React, participants. There should be an option saying join breakout room. Yeah. So through this option, you will find out within the 5 options which one would you like to join. Yeah.
Mark, I think we're ready to move on. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I hope you managed to get some answers or ask other sets of relevant questions. In the remaining moments, I would like to give the floor to anybody who wants to say anything, to ask questions, to introduce themselves, to give us suggestions, or to express whatever they wish to. This is the time and the place to know each other as much as this is possible on such a platform. So please, if there's anybody who wants to share anything, here we are. Come on.
Yes.
Everybody is complaining all the time that they don't have time, that everything is in a rush. So
Yes, Alina, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, thanks again. It's really very interesting, and we just talked about the communication. The website I manage, JGAD Europe, promotes the Jewish heritage. We have 800 cities mentioned. We do interviews of all the events, many events organized for the last 5 years. We did that. We were in coordination with Victor, of course, and Dominique in France, all over Europe. So I wanted to tell you guys that with great pleasure we'll promote your event once again this year. So if you want, we'll stay in touch. You give me your emails, and I can we can do interviews and promote your events. And I think that with the team of Love, we have a great opportunity to build bridges, to attract people, and to show the Jewish revenge against hatred, which is love, life, and sharing.
Wow, Steve, that's the enthusiasm of Love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Speaking of
Thank you.
emails, speaking of emails and connections, there was a suggestion that maybe we circulate the list of submissions and the people who registered in this session. We added all of you, those who were not in our main emailing list for the European Days. But in this particular case, all those who registered, I am wondering if we can circulate the list with all your email addresses. I just need, let's say, a heart and see how many hearts we get. If there are many, it means the majority, and people. Okay, we're getting there. You see the spirit of love. Good, 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 good. Thank you, Steve, for sharing this. And please do reach out to him and to us to promote your events. In terms of organizing and coordinating, please do let us know. If this is not the right context for you to initiate this type of conversation, any and all of us are available via our email addresses and the website. And Alfred wants to say something? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Alina. I read in the chat that there was a question how somebody can get the national coordinator. Maybe we give this information. Alina, can you or Victor, who of you can answer this?
Victor, would you?
It's about the national.
Yes.
Yes, if you can repeat the question, Alfred.
There was a question in the chat how somebody can become a national coordinator.
Okay, that's a very good question, and what we are trying to do, especially in the last years, is to replicate the models that are working in countries where we find an institution that it's operating as a national coordinator. Alfred and the Burgenland Foundation is an example. The UCE in Italy, the French Association, obviously, it's another good example. So I will suggest that the institution/person that it's interested in exploring to become a national coordinator, to be in contact with us, with Alina, with me, and we can start the discussion. We can see what opportunities and what's the feasibility of the proposal. But obviously, this is a work in progress, and especially in the last years, and I will highlight the fact that the European Days of Jewish Culture has his own committee with representative of many different countries, most of them acting as national coordinators. We really believe that this is the path to follow. So yeah, don't hesitate to be in contact with us. We will be very, very happy to work together on this.
Thank you so much, Victor. If there's anybody else who would like to say something, address, let's see if I see hands. No? No, I guess this is it. Dear friends, if there's nothing else to say at this point, remember that we're here for you. Please get back to us with recommendations, what we can do to facilitate whatever you need in order to organize and to level up, as Michael said, the European Days of Jewish Culture. This is the way to do it. And I think slowly we're gonna get there. Thank you each and every one of you, especially my colleagues, Paul and Sonia and Mark and Victor and all the members of the committee and everyone who took their time today. And I'm very happy to meet those who I haven't. I think this is it. Thank you so much. Take a break and let's talk about love in every way we can within the European Days of Jewish Culture, and not only in our lives as well. A lot of love to all of you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for an amazing 2 days. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Shalom.
Adios, gracias, hasta luego.
Bye.
תודה רבה.
Thank you, Alina.
Thank you.
Bye, bye.
One waiting for a certificate. It's not leaving until he gets the certificate.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on.